welcome to Tvaritam.AI. In this video, we are going to discuss duplicate handling. Now, duplicates are the records that appear more than once in a dataset. Now, this repetition of a record in a dataset can lead to bias in your model because multiple instances of similar thing can lead to your model giving more weight to those instances because of the inherent repetition. Because for the model, it might not be very obvious that if this is a duplicate entry or this is actual records being there for multiple instances. So in case there is a duplicate, it can occur due to various reasons like data collection error, system glitch, someone double clicked on the submission button, merging data from different sources can lead to actual duplicates being there in your dataset that you might not want your model to know. There could be some cases where they are real double entries which mean something, but in cases where it is not an actual entry, it is a data collection error or a glitch, you might not want that duplicacy to be a part of the training data because again it can lead to bias. Also it can lead to data leakage and thus cause overfitting. Elaborating a little bit on the data leakage point, assume that you have two same data points, right? One of them goes into the train set, one of them goes into the validation or the testing data set. Now, if your model is trained on the similar thing it is being tested on, it can show you better accuracy than it actually has. It is like giving answer to a question you already have faced, right? So in these cases, we want to not let the model see already existing data points again in the validation or the testing data set to actually understand how accurate the model would be. Now, when duplicacy is there in the data set, one question is to identify the duplicates, right? It is not always very straightforward that everything matches. It can depend on the domain and the type of record that we have. And to understand the duplicacy, very important concept is keys. So what is a key to begin with? A key is a column that uniquely identify a record. Like in most of the cases, if you go to a bank, your bank account number is unique. It is associated to only one person and not two bank accounts can have a same account number. So it is used to uniquely identify a particular bank account. When it comes to real world data, there could be different type of keys. One is your usual single column key. For example, a transaction ID. So for every transaction, there is a unique transaction ID associated. It is a simple thing to do, but it can miss the duplicates in case your POS system starts every day. So if every day the transaction ID starts from 1 or 001 or something like that, then every day you will have a similar transaction ID appearing again. So you can have duplicacy across different days if you have something like this in your system. So to overcome it, you can combine different columns and create key that is known as a composite key. For example, if your ID resets daily, your transaction ID and date can be used as a unique identifier because on a particular day, transaction ID will not get repeated. Or if you have multiple stores and every store have transaction ID 001 to begin with, you can combine transaction ID and date and the store ID to have a unique identifier for a particular transaction. So this gives you more accurate keys or more accurate identifiers where single column isn't sufficient to guarantee the uniqueness of a particular instance. Now, if we understand the duplicates, there are some ways to handle the duplicates. First is that we drop all the duplicates. This should be done only if you question the data source itself. You know, all the occurrence could be a fraud person or some spam that is trying to do a transaction again and again, trying to create some spam entries. In that case, you can drop all the duplicates, but this should be done with caution because you might lose a lot of legitimate data in case the duplicacy is due to some errors. Now, most common way is to either keep the first occurrence or the last occurrence depending on if the original entry is more reliable or the last. So to keep the first occurrence, let us say you have a POS system and it creates duplicate entry due to a network issue or due to double click. In that case, keeping the first record makes more sense because it can keep the actual transaction time when it happened, and then a duplicate entry or a double click could happen a few seconds or a few minutes later that you can simply remove and keep the first occurrence only. Keeping last occurrence will make sense if a transaction is happening at your store and you by mistake someone puts wrong price or something was wrong in the barcode, some error, you again do the transaction, you rectify the error. So in these cases where the latest entry makes the most sense, you can keep the last record, last occurrence, as it gives you the final state or the most recent and reliable state. So how you can deal with this in the given software? Well, we can go to the duplicate removal in the data preparation tab, and I can either select all features or I can go with selected features. So when I select all features, it will check for duplicacy or same values in all of the features in the dataset. Here you see this one issue is there, that 118 and 119, these two rows have everything similar. So I will keep the first occurrence here and drop the other one. Now every time this might not be the case, as we have seen sometimes there are composite keys where we have to go with a particular feature or a particular set of features. For example, customer ID, product ID and transaction date. In this case, if I see, then it raises some questions like same customer, same product, same date he is buying, and let us say he is also paying the same amount. This leads to a question of duplicacy, that the data is way too similar. It can be considered as a duplicate, it might be a duplicate, and in this scenario also I might want to keep the last occurrence, and I can just click on apply and this will automatically be taken care of. So this was how we can handle duplicate, and you can either go with all features or you can select the features or the keys and just select the apt action, click on apply, and all the duplicates would be handled based on what action you are selecting. Thank you.